Call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of Ruel. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace, mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. Back at you with another quick one throughout the week. This is a 5-minute video, but we're just going to get some scriptures. I'm going to do my best to let it play. We're going to get some scriptures, and then that'll be it. But just know that, these Christians are cooked. You hear me? Cooked. So understand that you are blessed to have the names. You are blessed to be able to have some understanding, or have the understanding. You are blessed to know that there is life after this hell. So here we go. We'll play it. We're going to, correct a little bit. But other than that, that'll be the video.
In the spiritual plane in the next few weeks. Almost the whole world now knows about what's coming up on April 8th, that we're having this solar eclipse. And there's been a lot of people talking about different things and concerning it. And of course, it's a big deal astronomically. And of course, down to the centuries, eclipses and comets, things like that have always been considered to be omens and signs of incredible dark spiritual power. So again, you can imagine that this is going to be used by the evildoers to amp up their power to try and attack. But there's something different about this that many of you may not know. April 8th every year is a major feast of some satanic groups that are called Thelema, which is the Greek word for will. They're followers of Aleister Crowley, whom we've talked about numerous times on this channel. He was probably the most evil Satanist of the 20th century. And what happened was, just real quickly, in 1904, he had an experience where his wife, he had just recently married this woman, Rose Kelly, and they were on their honeymoon in Egypt, in Cairo, and she went into a trance and started delivering this document, which is called the Liber Al Legis, the Book of the Law. And this was on April 8th, 1904. And for 3 days, she sat there and delivered, quote unquote, 3 chapters to this. It's like a satanic Bible. And I've talked about it more in other places. I don't want to spend the time on it now. But the important thing is, because of this, later on in his life, Crowley died in 1947, but he declared those 3 days to be sacred holy days for the Thelema cult.
Right, so just as the left hand,
they're called the equinox.
Yeah, there we go. So just as the left hand is ramping up, so are things on the righteous side. On the righteous side of the game. You have all of these prophecies popping off. Just as these devils are fully invested and are in full belief of their power. All right, that is fickle and futile. We ought to be that much more strong in the faith of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? You have the name, you have the understanding. So when you do pray and fast, and when you do line your life up according to this word, you have what you need to overcome. All right, so what do we want to get before I let this? Actually, I'm gonna let this continue to play. Hold on.
Box of the gods, these 3 days. And notice that the first day of this satanic feast is when the solar eclipse is. So this kind of creates a double whammy, if you will, because while not all satanic groups are followers of Crowley, a large number of them are. And I used to be a Crowley. I used to be a member of the OTO back in the 70s before I got out of that and Yeshua got me saved. But so I know.
You hear that? before the incorrect name got him saved. And what does the scriptures tell you about being saved? Well, before I get that, I want to read Romans 1:17, since I mentioned faith. I may go up a little more. Let me see. I'll just read straight to the point, 1:17, so that way, this video actually records. Okay, so for therein is the righteousness of Yahweh revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. Right, and people, especially Christians, they are going to fall victim to all of this. All right, so the Lord says there is no enchantment against Jacob. But in this instance, we're talking about the elect. And I pray that those of us who are listening and learning, preaching and teaching, that we are of that number. Let's get endure to the end. All right, so this is Matthew 24, verse 13. KJV, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So all of these things, all of these prophecies that have been spoken about, all of that has to come to pass. The MOTB, right? The implantable thing, the third woe, World War III, full blown. All hell needs to break loose right here on the soil of Babylon the Great, which is spiritually Egypt, which is spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. All of these things still, I wouldn't say all, but those few but very heavy things still have yet to happen. But they're on the brink, where they're right there. I'll read it again. Let's read it in the NLT. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. And we are at the cusp. We are right there, but not quite.
All this stuff. And I want you to understand that there's an incredibly dark energy going on from this equinox of the gods. It's not an astronomical equinox. Crowley, who is really an egomaniac, he just decided, I'm going to make my own equinox. And so he made this into a major feast day of the Thelemic calendar. And all sorts of rituals and things are done. And because it's coinciding with this solar eclipse, it's especially high energy evil. And Christians and intercessors need to be aware of this stuff, because
it doesn't matter what you do. You pray to the wrong name. You don't live according to the law, statutes, and commandments. It doesn't matter. That's why I said in the beginning, these Christians, they are cooked. And it looks like he's got a small hat on his head. Anyway, so I did say there is no enchantment against Jacob. So just to be thorough, that is Numbers 23 and 23. And then we're going to talk about enchantments, right? This is Isaiah 47 and 12 through 14. Actually, let me pull it up over here. All right, so at the top is Lament for Babylon, right? Straight to the point. Isaiah 47 and 12. Stand now with thine enchantments, in which they are trying to do. They are trying to pull out all the stops, right? He's coming down with great wrath, because he knows that he hath but a short time. And with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, if so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, be thou mayest prevail. You say, that's a taunt. Thou art wearied in a multitude of thy counsel. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators, stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves for the power of the flame, or from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before. And let's look at that NLT. But they are like straw burning in a fire. They cannot save themselves from the flame. You will get no help from them at all. Their hearth is no place. Their hearth. I don't know. I think that's supposed to be. Oh, okay. How about NIV? These are not coals for warmth. This is not a fire to sit by. Ah, okay. And what else does the scripture say? The house of Esau stuff. Hold on. And the scriptures do tell you that who would be ruling in the latter times in Babylon the Great in the revival of the Roman Empire, right? That beast with the deadly wound that was healed. Okay, so before in old Rome, you know, you had the Commonwealth states, and when you fast forward to today, you have these other nations that came back together to form this beast system. With Esau Edom at the head. And, you know, now NATO and EU is, I mean, over 20, 30 something countries. But in its inception, right, we understand who it is. We understand what this is. And Babylon the Great is the whore, or this place right here that we live in is the whore that rides on the back of the beast system. So these are, you know, or at least for now, America's allies up until, you know, they decide to burn her with fire, because America's foreign policy is not very friendly to their allies or anyone else. Obadiah 1:18. In the NLT first, let's see. The people of Israel will be a raging fire, and Edom a field of dry stubble. The descendants of Joseph will be a flame roaring across the field, devouring everything. There will be no survivors in Edom. I, Yahweh, have spoken. Gee whiz. So let's let a little bit more of this play.
It's not just going to be another equinox. It's not just going to be another solar eclipse, which happens, you know, every few years or so. It's going to be a confluence of two dark powers. Now, on the other hand, Jeremiah warns us, the prophet, that we are not to be dismayed at signs in the heavens, because this is what the heathen do. But what we do need to be not necessarily dismayed about, but aware of, is that the heathen, quote unquote, who include, you know, black.
And before I allow him to continue and go off, let me see. Be not dismayed. So let's get that really quick. Jeremiah 10:2. And I may need to start wrapping this up. Jeremiah 10:2. Okay, a satire on idolatry. Thus saith Yahweh. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of the heathen. Of heaven, I'm sorry. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. The heathen are dismayed because they don't have salvation. That is why they are dismayed. They have no understanding. They were not given that.
Magicians and Satanists and witches all view this time
to include Christians. You said you heard him say that the heathen were basically, he's saying the Christians, and then the opposite are the non-believers, and those who are not Christian are the heathen. No, the heathen are bloodline peoples, other nations, Ammon, Moab, Esau, Ham, the other nations that come of Shem, with the exception of the Israelites, with, you know, so that's who heathen are. And then the scriptures already tell you that, you know, 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off on this side. So they are going to die the death of the heathen because they were dismayed at the signs. They learned the ways of the heathen. They learned the ways of these other nations. Christian, Christianity is nothing more than a pagan ritual or pagan religion wrapped in a pretty little bow. You're pretending. You just use the Bible to preach Christianity. You don't actually live these words. All right, so with that being said, as you can see, the title, or at least all of these captions, it says prayer and fasting. Abstain from foods, things, places, or pleasures that satisfy your flesh. Now, if you want to do so, then by all means do so. Enter into prayer and pray that this place be destroyed swiftly, and that the imaginations of these wicked individuals, these foolish beasts, that they come to naught. Let, as David said, let the roughly paraphrase, let the trap that they laid for me catch them. So, if you're walking in faith and you are under the vibration of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai by reading these scriptures, listening and learning and applying them to your life, then pray to the Lord for protection and covering. And pray that this devil goes down quickly. All right, so no need to take a Christianity or a Christian approach, because I said it before, I'll say it again, that the Christian is the lowest level. I can't even think. The Christian is on the lowest vibration ever. Like you'd be better off talking to an atheist than you would a Christian, and that's coming from somebody who was one. So again, with that being said, I pray that you are edified. Shalom.